So this year, for my birthday and Zion's birthday, I had the urge to be alone. Decided to honor that, even though I didn't know what being alone was going to bring. I thought maybe I'd just break down and cry a whole ocean and release. All I knew is that I desired to be alone, and I desired to be in the bathtub. I'm used to taking baths regularly, and I hadn't taken a bath in months and months. So I was really fiending, craving. I was craving. I was craving a bath. That's where the bath is. Oh my gosh. The bath is the hydro healing center. It is the teleporter. You want to time travel. You want to travel dimensions. It's through the water. Oh my gosh. So I made bath bombs, and I already had bath salts made at my house. I just hadn't been home in months because I was just honoring myself. I didn't want to be home. So I get to take a bath, 2 baths over the weekend, and I get to journal. So on my birthday, I went to the Valencia Mall. I don't have to say exactly where I went. See, this is that stuff I be talking about. Because this is where my personalities, the different energies working inside of me, start having conversations about how much to give and how much not to, for safety reasons. Because for me, I can just talk freely. I've done it. I do it. I have recordings. I just record myself talking. So, I mean, it's nothing to talk. The thing is discerning how much to give, how much information to disclose, and how much information not to disclose. What is the need to know? So anyways, I got my eyebrows done, and I got snacks, and I went to my room. I took a bath. The first night, my birthday night, with the bath bomb I made. And that was cool. And then I went to sleep early, like 7:30 p.m. I laid down. I thought I might journal. I didn't feel like it. I went to sleep. And that's a whole nother realm. The dream realm, subconscious realm, could be like the meditation realm, whatever you want to call it. It's another vehicle. It's all the same. Anyways, so I was in dream world, working and moving and shaking and grooving. And I woke up early. And I just stayed in bed for a little bit. I cried a little bit, I prayed. I went downstairs for breakfast because the place I was at had breakfast. And I already brought my own breakfast because I already know how that goes. But I'm really open and grateful. So I'm in a state of being and experiencing what I'm experiencing. Being as fully present or not. Just not even having any expectations on myself. So anyway, I was in line to get an omelet, and I had already ordered my omelet and everything. So I went to go drop this plate off that was like all this nasty food. I had got it because I thought that's all my options were, and I was tasting it, the potatoes and stuff, and I was like, no, thank you. So I put it down and just stood in line for my omelet. When I came back, this little boy had this mohawk that reminded me of my baby. He was young. He was probably like 7. So the mom had him go up and ask the guy who was making the omelet people, some question. I don't know what. I was like, oh, how old is he? And she was like, oh, he's 7. And then she immediately started talking about how, oh, I just colored his hair because he saw his teammates that wanted their hair colored. And, and so I said, he can color his hair too. And I felt like she felt like judged, like she was judging herself for coloring his hair for whatever reason. I don't know if she used regular dye or what, but my baby, I was like, oh, it reminds me of my son's hair. His hair was that color before, and all kinds of color, rainbow colors. I didn't tell her anything about the dye being a more natural dye, but a washout dye, temporary dye. I didn't do all that. I didn't even care about all that. That was her own stuff that she was putting out there. But I was just thinking about my baby, and I was like, oh my, like, yeah, he had different colors, da-da-da-da-da. And she's like, oh, okay, cool, whatever. And I brought my journal down, and I got 2 cups of coffee. I got 1 cup of coffee. I just put honey in it, and was sitting down, eating my omelet, and writing. And the thing that really got me, and what I was drawn to write about, because I realized the cycle ending. Oh my gosh, like I've been talking about it for the longest. Like in astrology, I've seen it in my chart. I've seen it in other people's charts. I freaking, but just because you know what is coming, you don't know what to expect. It's not like you know how it's coming. You know what I'm saying? Like I have major transits in my 8th house right now. Pluto is there. Saturn is there. The South Node is there. Not to mention a whole bunch of stuff, right? But besides that point, because I'm not talking astrology, I'm talking about what I was writing about, what I was feeling. I was crying while I was writing it. Sometimes I was listening to music. Hey, I was listening to Double Up. Hey. I don't know the rest of the words, but anyways. So I was writing about how for the past 33 years, my life has been motivated by fear. It started off with the fear of God. Oh my gosh, I know that one. All I ever wanted to do was please God. That's it. Worship God. I had a connection. No, there was more things I wanted to do, but that was like a spiritual thing since a child that I know and that I remember. And I remember the fear through religion, through church. Can I get a witness? And seeing how we were ruled by fear this whole fucking time. All of my decisions. Every single last one. The decision to get married when I did was fear. The decision to have Zion was fear. The reason why I had Zion after being married first, fear. There's so many reasons and decisions that I made and fears that I had and realities that I created because of this fear of the Most High, of sinning against the Most High. Sinning is missing the mark, but I mean, like, in the churches that I grew up in, I went to church by myself as a child. Sometimes my dad went. My papa was a deacon of the church that I grew up in, and My grandma used to go when I was little, but throughout my childhood, I made it to church. I was in somebody's church most Sundays. I'm not going to say every Sunday because I'd have to get a ride and everything. And I would make sure that I got my ass to church by myself, without my parents, with or without them. I've been to plenty of churches. I grew up in church. So I knew the rules and the taglines and the script. I studied the Bible throughout my life fervently, seeking the face of the Most High. So I know the fear of the Lord is the beginning of all understanding. But how can you fear somebody, worship them, and be authentic? That doesn't make any sense. Because when fear is involved, I don't act authentically. I'm acting because I'm afraid. I'm doing whatever I can to survive. You know what I'm saying? Like, think about it. When fear is aroused in you, you're most likely not going to be true to yourself. We can apply this to social situations. You can watch children. I work with children. I watch it all the time. I learned it through the children. You could be fearful of not fitting in and then do and say things that are not true to yourself so that you're not rejected. I've seen it. I've witnessed it. I've experienced it. So fear will have you acting inauthentically. And I've been fearing the Most High. That's what I was taught. Making decisions based on that. My whole life. With a pure heart and mind to know the Most High. Most High, who am I? How do I worship you? How do I get to know you? Seeking the face of the Lord. Seeking the way to worship the Most High. To do the will, to be used as a vessel. I dedicated my children, all who passed through my womb, to the Most High. Before I even knew I could have children. I thought I was a barren woman. I liken myself to Hannah in the scriptures. And after I was like, I'll give up being a mother and having children for the kingdom of heaven. I was good. I got married. I didn't want to live in sin in the last days because what good is it me following the laws of the Most High, but then I'm having sex and I'm not married? That doesn't make any sense. That just is like, well, do you believe this? If you believe in this word and the word of the Lord, then why do you believe that you can do this and still make it into the kingdom of heaven? That's not how this works. So I walked and I did everything according to the law. And it was inauthentic to me because I had other goals and dreams. And I did sacrifice them for the Most High. Even though the Most High planted them in my heart, which was interesting. So anyway, I'm thinking about this fear. Fear of my sensuality, of my dance, of my worship, of how my body responds. I could feel something and my body will feel it first. I move and I shift the energy. It's a gift. It is my birthright. And I was afraid to sin against the Lord, sin against the Most High, by simply expressing myself the way I was created to. Does that make any sense? It doesn't. So, all this fear, all this judgment, because I agreed to it, because I believe it to be true. And it's created my reality. Even my baby. I thought I couldn't have children. I prayed to be able to have Zion. And the next time I was intimate, not even intimate, I don't want to say intimate because intimacy is far more than sex. The next time I had sex with my husband, I got pregnant. I prayed to. I wanted to know before I left the earth. And I knew I was leaving soon, so. Because Father's coming was imminent. It was imminent. And I'm not ashamed of that. I'm not ashamed. I never was ashamed that I was willing to follow the Most High to the letter, to the T, to the scriptures, which most churches don't do. And I've talked to pastors and priests and rabbis and ministers and bishops and deacons and deaconesses and all of that about the scriptures. I've talked to different people of faith about different scriptures to know who is the Most High and how am I supposed to worship. That quest, that vision quest, has led me to this beautiful, beautiful reset. My baby is with me now more than ever, creating with me. I was doing everything I was doing so I could homeschool him. I didn't know how it was going to happen. I knew his dad was not going to let me take him away and like travel with him and like live with him in another state. So I already gave up that but I'm like, when he's with me, I am going to homeschool him. I am going to world school him. We are going to have experiences. We are going to heal communities. You know, we're naturally gifted at this. I have this in my mind. We're going to entertain. You know, that, and my baby told me, even since he was in the hospital, Mommy, that's still the plan. This is just what it looks like. It's amazing how I feel my baby when I'm doing what I'm doing. And so he was like, Mommy, I already know. Like, you are not ready for me. You needed me when I came, and I did. He was like, but you weren't ready for it. You didn't really want me. You didn't really want a baby to take care of. He was like, but you needed me. And I did. I needed him. I needed him to wake me up. I needed him to get me out of my depression. I needed him to show me my beauty. And I'm not talking about my looks and my body. I'm talking about the beauty within me, my mind and my heart. To be able to love and be peace and truly appreciate myself and see the value of me. And that's amazing. And to get me out of my depression, I promise you that little man, he's an old soul. Zion, I called him a little man because he's a guru. He is a guru. So anywho, from the get-go, from the jump, now, this is something. So crazy how everything is so connected. The reason why I felt like I can get married and have a baby when I did is because I didn't anticipate on being responsible for them for 80 years, starting when I was going to start. I was under the impression the world was going to end soon. I did not anticipate seeing Zion grow up like that. When I was pregnant with him, I did not see that future. I'd never seen him past little. That's the truth. And I was afraid of that too. And I was praying for more time with him. That's the real truth. I kid you not. I was praying for more time to get to know him, to see his personality, to see his smile, to see how he talks, to see what he thinks about, to see him make friends. Like, I wanted to see that. And I felt guilty for it because the Most High sacrificed so much. And I'm like, put off Judgment Day, put off Armageddon, put off the end of the world, put off the final judgment so I can know this boy, so I can know this baby, so I can know this being, so I can bond, so I can see him grow up. I feel guilty for that. That's crazy, but that's the truth. And my baby came anyway. And I got to spend time with him, and he is amazing. And not only that, but he really is my guru. I kid you not. Once I left the church when he was 9 months old. Can you imagine that? Now I have a whole life ahead of me as a mom and a wife right now. I couldn't even make a decision to save my life. You know how many people I led to the church? Every fucking church I've been a part of. How many people I led to the church. Especially the last one I was in. I was bearing fruit left to right. They make jokes about me and Sean saying that we didn't bear fruit. We bore trees because we brought people. We studied with them. This whole time, heaven is a state of mind. I'm already in the kingdom of heaven right now because it's all right up in here. And it's not even here. This is just the physical idea of where it's at, just to be like my mind, my thoughts, my breath. Breath really is life. This whole time. The scriptures are really living, breathing. And it's not what we've been taught. Just straight up. Just straight up. Let me ask you this. With all due respect, please let us use our brains and use our minds and use our logic for a second. There was no J in the alphabet during the time that the Christ walked the earth. Why are we using this name? Even though it has power, my dude, my sister, my brother, Kali has power in the name. Saraswati has power in the name. Oya has power in the name. Any name you call on, there is some power in it. Just so you know. I'm just saying. It's all within us anyway. That's the whole point. The kingdom of heaven is within you. So, my baby knew. The Most High knew. We all knew. Zion's like, Mommy, this was a part of the plan. You just don't remember. So I started thinking about it. The only way to remember is to do it. You can't try to remember. You really can't try to do anything. Anyway. Yes, my fear of the Most High. So that cycle, 7 years, that cycle is done. 7 years of learning to love myself, accept myself, acceptance, big deal, acceptance, accept myself. Yes, acceptance. Heck yeah, I came here on a spiritual mission to do spiritual work And I cannot fake the funk. I'm sorry. I can't. The Most High won't let me. I respect my spiritual team. I respect my spiritual work. It's just as important as any other work. I used to think I was a joke. I swear to you. Because people couldn't see what I could see, or hear what I can hear, or feel what I could feel. And I had nobody to tell me, to validate what I was experiencing. And it made me feel crazy. Straight up. I was even put on medication at one point and diagnosed at a very young age. That's wild. So anywho. Yeah, man. That fear is done, over with. And my baby is with me all the time, whenever. And like, I know everybody has their own spiritual beliefs and spiritual practices and spiritual, this is what you should do, what you shouldn't do. I don't even doubt none of that. All I know to be true is that I follow my intuition and my internal GPS system. Nobody else works for me. Only mine works for me. That's not to say that I wouldn't, seek counsel or whatever. At the end of the day, through prayer and meditation and listening and stillness, I know what to do. I know where and what. So that's a thing. That's a thing.